Hi, my name is Chris, and I'm starting a YouTube channel where I will be reviewing movies and ranking series or director's work and just basically talking about movies. So for my first video, I'll be reviewing Basic Instinct from 1992. So this will be a spoiler review, but I thought Basic Instinct was really good, but in the middle it gets too horny, and the suspension of disbelief is too much for me. It really comes together at the end. So, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it, because I'm going to be talking spoilers, because I just feel it's the best way to talk about this movie. And most of my videos will be spoiler reviews, because I just find it more interesting to talk about movies that way. So, this movie was directed by Paul Verhoeven and written by Joe Esterhaus. So, the movie opens, we see this woman, she's not stabbed yet, she's having sex. And then she stabs this guy. So then the movie goes into Michael Douglas is a detective, and they go to try and takes them a while, but they find Sharon Stone, and they believe she is the murderer, who her character is Catherine Trammell. And fantastic character. Sharon Stone does a great job. Probably should have been nominated for an Oscar. She's like the ultimate femme fatale. Great villain. And why she's so great is from the beginning, she doesn't admit to doing the murder, but she's really not denying it. And what this movie does so great is it basically tells you, yeah, this woman did it. Not, like at the beginning, I was like, okay, 95, 99% sure she is the murderer. And you think that wouldn't work. But it works because then there's doubts throughout the movie. And then you really don't know until the end. You ultimately know it's her. I think that's the best ending. I think it wouldn't have worked out as well as if she wasn't the murderer. I think it works by, she's the murderer, you're almost positive she's the murderer, and you start to delta throughout. And then it comes back, oh, she did it. I think that's best for the movie. So, yeah, then there's the iconic scene of her being interrogated and kind of screwing with them. Obviously, opens up her legs, crazy, and then that's the interrogation scene, and then that's when Michael Douglas. He kind of seems like he starts following her, and he might be like into her a little bit, and then things happen. He follows. She is a writer. She writing like these thrillers and things, and she is friends with this woman who killed her family, like, I think it might have been like 40 years ago. Really weird shit that really benefits the movie. But then where it goes downhill for me is when Michael Douglas he goes to her house, and then I think they kiss first, and then they have sex. It's like, okay, you fucking idiot. He basically knows she's the murderer. It's like, afterwards you're like, oh, maybe he now doesn't think she's the murderer. But then when he leaves, he tells her that he still thinks she's a leading suspect. So I think it's kind of cool in one aspect, but the suspension of disbelief for me, it breaks it for me. I was talking about this with my dad. He's like, Christopher, it's a movie. But for me, he's too horny. No one's that horny to you have sex with this woman who murdered people. Like, you obviously, yeah, that's suspension of disbelief is broken for me there. And I was getting pissed off there. And then the movie kept on going. And then I think I might have been with like 30 or 40 minutes left. Sharon Stone tells Michael Douglas that she had an obsessive roommate, I think like in her freshman year of college or something, and gives Michael Douglas a name. He gets the name wrong, calls her back again, gets the name right. And he finds a picture of this woman, and she is therapist Dr. Beth Garner, who is Michael Douglas's therapist, because she's a psychiatrist. She works at the police station, or LA detective, or they're in San Francisco, sorry. She's in the law enforcement. She's a psychiatrist for him. And her and Michael Douglas, I don't know if they dated, but definitely had sex many times previously. So that adds a new wrinkle that totally benefits the movie hugely. That's great writing. Because I think at that time it was like, oh, Sharon Stone's the murderer, which I think it's good they had the movie like that. Like, you know it's her the whole time. But then that opens up. It's like, what the heck is going on now? So then Michael Douglas confronts her. She's like, you're letting Catherine Trammell, like, screw with you. Why are you believing this woman? You aren't believing me. And it's working. Michael Douglas's penis is talking to him because he likes Sharon Stone too much. But then, yeah, the movie keeps going. Roxy, Sharon Stone's roommate, tries to kill Michael Douglas to run him off the road. That's a little bizarre, but whatever. But then Michael Douglas and the other cop, or other detective, Gus Moran's a character, they go to, they get a phone call. Gus gets a phone call earlier that day from one of Sharon Stone's, like, acquaintances from college, and said she has some things she wants to talk to the detective about. So the guy Gus goes up to this office building to talk to her. Michael Douglas stays in the car. He goes up there to eerie music. Doesn't seem like it's going to end well. And then you see Michael Douglas he realizes something, which they never actually show what he realizes. Like, he looks at the window, see a bunch of lights are on in this building, and runs up into the building. So Gus Moran, the other detective, is in the elevator, gets out elevator, gets stabbed by someone like in a cloak. You can tell they have blonde hair. And then Michael Douglas gets up there. His friend the detective is dead. And then he sees the psychiatrist, Beth Gardner, and because her office is there. And then he sees her. He tells her, like, I think, put her hands behind the back or whatever. She doesn't, goes to reach in his pocket. He shoots her, realizes it's just a keychain. And we still don't know, was she the murderer? She was right there, trying to act all innocent. And then Michael Douglas in the stairwell, or I don't think then backup comes. Then the detectives, they find a cloak in the stairwell and a blonde wig. It's like, oh, it wasn't Sharon Stone. It's Beth Gardner trying to look like Sharon Stone. But then, yeah, so Beth Gardner died. I think something might happen then. Then Michael Douglas meets up with Sharon Stone. They end up having sex again, and like, oh, is she going to kill him? Is she going to kill him? And she reaches for something, doesn't kill him, and we see a shot under the bed. There was an ice pick, because that was her weapon she stabbed people with. So she ultimately was the murderer, but she didn't kill him. It's ambiguous. It, like, doesn't give you everything. But I think ultimately it's a good ending. Well, yeah, there are some things missing here. So it's like, why did Michael Douglas run in the office building? That's a big question. Like, what did he realize? We never see what he realized. Did he see someone, like, through the window? If so, why wouldn't they just, like, show that shot? But overall, Basic Instinct is a really good thriller. It's too horny for its own good. But ultimately, I recommend, because there's some good writing, different way just to tell a story. It's fresh. It's a fresh movie. Go watch it.